it is being used in product management. If you ask me my experience with regards to product management, I have worked with two edtech startups on a product role. Have been worked as an growth product manager as well as a general APM, and also I have built couple of products using no codes for my freelance projects. So this is about me with respect to no code and product management. And by this end of the session, I'll make sure that all the participants of the meeting understand about the no-code tools and what sort of no-code tools are there, and how to harness this particular power of this no-code tools to build your own products and stuff. And even though if you have no history with working with no-code products, this meeting would suffice you with the content which is required to build products in no-code. And also initially the meeting would go a bit basic, so if you have history of working with the no code tools you might find it very layman. But then as the meeting progresses, we'll make sure that we increase the stakes of the conversations we have during this particular meet. And also guys, like, it would be great if we have it very interactive, so I request you, all of you, to turn on your cams if you are in a decent background, and let's keep this particular meeting to be interactive. And the flow of the particular meet is, as far as it is concerned, first we'll be talking about no code tools, because many people in the meet might not be aware of what are no code tools and how is it being used and stuff. And then we'll see the how no code is helpful in product management. Then probably we'll walk through this particular no code platform called Bubble. We'll just try to build something around it, and that is going to be the structure of this call for next 45 minutes. I think we are good to be started. So I'll share my screen, and if my voice is not audible or if my screen is not visible, kindly let me know. And cool. I think hope my screen is visible and my voice is audible. Cool. Thanks, Aditi. Yeah. So how many of you folks are aware about no code here? Okay. Aditi, Jyoti, Rahul. Nice. So, quite a few people are aware about no code in this particular meeting. So, would anyone mind to switch on your mic and then tell what do you know about no code, or have share your experience with the no code? So we can start this meeting with an icebreaker. Guys?
Hi, so I do not have a lot of experience working with no code, even though we have tried working with no code before. However, as far as I know, no code enables you to build websites and applications without actually having to write down the code that goes behind it. They just like drag and drop elements into a website. That's my idea of it.
Okay, nice. Thank you, Aditya, for. So, like Aditya said, so no code is a way of building things without actually coding stuff. So, if you want to build an application, so the general conservative approach is to just code it and then publish it, so you get your website or you get your app, right? But then what happened was, initially, a decade earlier or stuff, if you want to build a page or something, you used to code every single line of it, right? Then it became, it developed into some sort of frameworks where some things like which would be present in every website. For example, you take the login button, or you take something which is very rudimentarily present on the platforms. So people started to make it into a framework sort of thing. So if, let's say, Aditya wants to build something with an login button, so if I already have this sort of functionality where he can use it, so it becomes very beneficial for the stakeholders who are building the product, right? So then what happened was, from coding everything, then we got very, like, easy frameworks, and we also went into the side of low code development. So what it means to be low code development is, so only some key functionalities of your product you would be coding. So all the rest basic things, what used to to happen is you basically get the functionality from an existing platform, the low code platform basically. So there are low code platforms like Pori.io. These platforms basically what they do is it will help you to code as well as you can use some existing functionalities which are embedded in the platform. And then these days no code is something which has been actively in use in this market. So what do you mean by no code is basically without coding you get to develop end to end applications. And why there is a demand for this particular no code is because not everyone is equipped with the art of coding. So only a very marginalized number of people know coding and know how to build stuff. But take a shopkeeper or take a salesman and they need to make their own portfolio website or something like that. So in that case, they can't always rely on, let's say, a coder or someone, right? So for to enable them to build their own stuff, this no code has been developed. And um, and product managers tend to exploit it to its maximum potential because of various things which we would be discussing in the upcoming slides. So this is a small introduction about the no-code tools, no-code guys. And also, no-code is basically like Aditya said, you would be having the visual things. Like for example, if you think of a button, you can just drag and drop a button, and then you can customize it to your needs and stuff. So visually, you will be able to interact with that particular website or something. So easily you can build your website in no time. So website or application in no time. So that is one advantage of no code, and also it's very user friendly. Even though you haven't had a traditional degree in, let's say, computer science or any engineering aspect, even you are a layman who just knows to use internet tools, then you can easily build a website using this particular no code tools. And also rapid prototyping, you can easily make a prototype, so which becomes very beneficial for the product managers, because as a product manager you tend to make a lot of MVP to just to know how the particular application works and stuff, right? So if you have something like if it something gives you an platform for you to build something in quickly and to iterate it, then it is a very good thing, right? So that is one another advantage of no code tools. And why I said product managers use it is because if you are a product manager, if you want to build a feature, if you want to get to put it in the application, you what generally product managers used to do is they go to the coders and then they explain them this is what I want, and then the coders take a week's time or 2 weeks time to build that particular feature. Then you generally test it out in the market, and by the time it all happens, you get to like waste like 2 to 3 weeks of time. But let's say if you have no code, then the product manager, if he is smart enough, he himself can build that particular features or functionality in no time, let's say 2 or 3 days, and he can quickly know where this particular thing leads to, correct? So that is an advantage of no code thing. And moving on, this is the benefits of using no code. For example, like it's efficient, and also it is very accessible. And if you have any other innovative things to experiment, probably you can use no code in product management. Yeah, I mean, let's get on to the actual stuff. I think we discussed some theory so far, so let's see the tools which you can use for building your own stuff. So let's say if you want to build a website, so then you have all these platforms like Wix, Squarespace, which would help you to make a professional website without coding. Let's say you have a small boutique and you want to list your products over there or showcase what you have been doing. You can use these platforms like Wix and Squarespace. And also let's say you are a freelancer, you do graphic design, and you want to build your own portfolio website. Then probably you can use these platforms to make whatever you want in the context of websites and web development. Moving on, you have also mobile apps, and you can use tools like Adalo and Bubble to build your mobile apps without any coding. And Bubble is the app which we would be walking through in this particular meeting. And a little context about Bubble. So, Bubble.io is a platform where you can build both mobile applications as well as websites without using coding. And also, they have some certain features where if there is some sort of a complex uh, thing which has to be embedded in the thing you are building, you can probably use coding as well. But then it will have its own, like, in the free version you can't code it, but then if you buy a premium version or a pro version, you can definitely code it and then insert the functionality. But for testing purposes, Bubble is a free tool. And moving on, then you have automation softwares, Zapier, email automation. So, and then you have other services where generally automation systems can be built without coding. I'll give you an example to understand better, because mobile apps, website you might have seen, but when it comes to automation, many might have experience, but might not have known this particular nomenclature of stuff. Basically, let's say you go onto a website and then you register or do something, you might find that an email would be, you'd receive a mail, correct? And that particular email would be automated through certain third-party applications. For example, like Zapier. Zapier is an email automation tool. It is a paid tool. I don't think it gives a free version, but there are other automation softwares for email like Mailmodo and such. So where you can basically automate it. Like for example, if someone comes to your website or someone comes to your app and someone orders something, then probably once that order has been placed, you would get a mail. So that would be automated through this particular software. And yeah, and also it's not like no code doesn't have any disadvantages. You also have certain limitations or the area of improvements which the respective owners of these no code platforms are keep on working these days. One is it is bit complex. So because if you want to build something and you can have very little resources. For example, if you're coding something, if you have any query or if you have any doubt, you can always Google it. So, or you can use Stack Overflow, or you can even ask ChatGPT. So it kind of eases your job, right? But when it comes to no code, there are very little amount of resources which are available on internet. Correct. So sometimes you might be clueless with respect to understanding few processes or understanding certain frameworks. So that no code is bit complex, and also if you take platforms like Bubble, Bubble is bit complex compared to other no code tools. And the reason why we chose Bubble was that two things. So one was like it is, if you understand Bubble, then automatically you would understand the other no code tools like Flutterflow or Glide AI or even Google App Sheets too. So because they are a bit more easier than Bubble, so we thought that okay, we'll walk through in this Bubble, so you would understand Bubble and appreciate the user good user experience of the other platforms. I'm not telling that Bubble has a very bad user interface or very thing, but problem is it gets complex. That is one thing. And also customization, when it comes to coding, you have your own freedom to do stuff. If you are a good coder, you can customize a lot of things. But again, in no code, this might not be an option. So whatever is there, you would be taking it and then using. Correct. And then also scalability. So this is also a challenge. So you might see, if you are building a very small MVP, the no-code tools might not demand a lot of credit from your end. But then if your product is been scaling, like let's say 10,000 active users, or like let's say you have a very high DAU, that times you might be paying extra amount to help you with the bandwidth and the traffic. So that is one thing. These are some challenges and limitations in no code. And yeah, now let's come to the action part, like how to get started. Like if you are someone who has heard about no code and also wants to build actively on no code, so these are some things which you can try it out. So one thing is, you can always explore the online resources, and online resources are very less when it comes to these no code platforms. You can hardly find one or two Udemy courses on Bubble itself. So that is how scarce these because it is picking it up. So after 2 or 3 years, of course, you will find ample of resources. But at the moment, the scope for educating yourself with no code is very limited. But obviously, you can use the internet smartly and kind of find the resources and practice, build some small projects or MVPs. If you are a PM intern or somewhere, if you're if your POC at your job place asks you to build something, you build it with no code and see, because this gives you the scope of completing it faster, correct? So on that you can use when it comes to the no code. And also again, like, you can join these forums, communities, like which talk about no codes. I think if you are a person who is using Reddit, you would find a lot of communities regarding no code. But even spaces in Twitter, you can I mean, it's called x.com. So you can use these places to find spaces where no code is being talked about, and even LinkedIn groups. So try finding where people are actively talking about no code and stuff. So and join them. People would post like a lot of projects, what they have done, and then you can probably try to clone it, or you can probably ask them how they did it, and you can connect with people in the no code space and then get to know more about it. And yeah, so these are some famous tools which people use day to day: Webflow and Bubble, Adalo. And Webflow is, again, it's like an equally powerful tool like Bubble. But thing is, Webflow, you can easily build stuff. So you can also do your user interface and then host it. So if you are building a very basic website, let's say you are going to launch a product and you need to make a website for the wait list. So in that cases, you can use application like Webflow. And if you are building little more complex thing where you have to trigger a mail to some person, or like in order to store some, high data on the backend, probably you can use Bubble. Moving on, yeah, I think this is the end of the presentation. And like I'll just re-summarize again. So why no code is important? Because it helps everyone to build their products. And how product managers make a good use of it, because they don't have to wait for the coders to build their application, you know taking it a long time. So for the better usage of time, and for the better usage of resources, product managers tend to harness this power of no code. And also basic things, like if you're just going to make a landing page with some small elements in it, then instead of sitting and coding, you can just do it in no code and host it. So those are some advantages of no code compared to the conservative approach of doing things. So probably we can have a small discussion if you guys have any queries so far, and then we can move towards the bubble, exploring bubble platform and stuff, right, guys? Hope I was audible.
Yeah, yeah, you audible.
Cool, cool. Thank you. Guys, just give me a minute. No, I'll just be back 1 second. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, guys. So any queries or any interesting thought, like anyone's here with this mindset that it is better to code than to go for no code?
Yeah, hi Ashok. I just had a curious question about this no code thing. So let's say I made a product in no code initially to like test it for the customers, and then I want to switch it to switch it to the other side, the code version. Okay. So
Okay.
how easy is the how is it to convert a no code to code? Like, is it easy or is it like wanted to know something about
So
this in this sense?
depends on the platform, Prajwal. So if you take a very good no code platform where you are building, so if let's say an established website like Glide AI or Bubble, then they are very responsive in nature. So you get to quickly get the codes, and then you can easily convert into an platform of your convenience. So obviously, go on product hunt. If for all the product enthusiasts here, so there is this website called Product Hunt. So where you would be exploring a lot of products. So any new product which people do, they list it over there. So so if you see in the Product Hunt, there are like new no-code tools which the PMs generally release. So if, let's say you are using that sort of an application, then it becomes hard for you to convert it into the primitive way. But if you are using some sophisticated tools, then you would be having no problem. And also, it's very responsive. If you make it for, let's say, if you make it for web and you want to use it for mobile, so then you can also easily make it to that version if you are using some platform like Bubble. And also, again, it should be a paid one. If it is a paid one, then it is responsive. But if it's not going to be paid one, then you can understand the sort of features you get with the all the softwares which gives you free model, right? So that would be the case. Hope
Got
that
it. Thanks.
answers.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And also, like, let's say it's not just for like a product manager. Even if you are like a startup founder or you have an idea, so you want to build it into a product. So instead of like, let's say, you hiring coders and then making them build it, you can just make a small MVP by yourself and probably you can use it to tell to your build or something like they tend to use this particular way of building things. So I have worked in startups. I haven't worked in a sole product management role in corporates. But then as far as startups are concerned, mostly all the founders till at least their alpha testing stage, they tend to use no code. Because in startups what happens is like your idea gets to keep on changing. It always pivots, right? So in that case, if you are like building something, then you have to build everything from start. So to avoid all those hassle, people generally use no code. So if you see any startups which are consumer facing, then and also if the founder is like an new gen founder, then you might find that they are using tools like no code things. Yeah. So this is something I wanted to add. Cool then. So I'm assuming there are no queries. Any queries, guys, before we move on to the next part of it? Guys, let's keep it very interactive. Let's not have it, mo- let's not bore it into a lecture. So, so, cool. So, all clear. Thank you, Aditya. So let's just see about Bubble. So Bubble.io, this is the platform we will be seeing this evening. We'll be just walking you through what is there in the website and how to basically build something in this particular platform. So as you can see, this is the landing page of Bubble.io, and these are some things I had basically did in my past projects, basically. So you can see there are this academy where you can learn about. Okay. Hope my screen is visible. Did my screen change? One second. Yeah. Hello. Now, can you see Bubble Academy?
Yeah. We can see now.
Cool. Thank you. So yeah, this is Bubble Academy where you have generally videos about how to build stuff in Bubble, and you can see it's basically an inbuilt thing which they give. But if you aren't to catch up, but then if you watch some tutorials on YouTube is a good place where you can find videos which they explain it in a very layman terms. So also if you aren't understanding Bubble Academy at when you start, no worries, you can use YouTube to learn as well. But finding the right resources can be hard at times when it comes to no code, because there's a very new thing in the thing, right? And also you have something called marketplace, Bubble Marketplace, where you can find templates. See, so if you are going to build a tech platform or something like that, you already would be having all the existing templates. So you can explore this section too. So and also let's say you'll be having a lot of let's say you want to make a travel marketplace. You can see a lot of startups, being cloned into the no code way. So if you want to build similar to it, you can just use this template to build. Let's say you are making something like an Instagram, like you want to build something for like Instagram for NIT Trichy. So if you want to, instead of starting from scratch in no code, you can always go use this particular template. Once you get the template, you can always edit it, and then you can customize. So that is why this particular templates are being given. And coming back, you have a forum. Okay, I think one second. Sorry. Yeah, you have the forums where you can find people asking their queries and stuff. So let's now dive into an process of knowing how to build a app or something. Like you have a create an app button. So you can name your app. Let's say TPF workshop. You can always activate the free trial and stuff, but I'll go with the start with the basic features. And also some features would be you can always here you can upload your favicon and stuff. But if you are going to upload your favicon, if people, I'm hoping people are aware of what's a favicon. If you are not, it's the the logo sort of thing you see in your the bar basically. So if you don't want it, like if you don't want an paid one right now, you won't get your favicon. But again, like we'll just get into that application to see the features and stuff. Yeah. So this is basically the field you will be building your product guys. So here you have section like design. This using these tools, you will be designing your page, and then there is this section of workflow where you will be giving. So what is meant by workflow is, let's say there is a button. If you click the button, what has to be the call to an action? So that is given in this workflow place. Let's say you want to go to a next page, or if you want to refresh, or you want to take them to a page where it says like error 404, something like that. So to understand how this website, the user is going to travel through the website or the application, is determined by the workflow. So that is what the workflow is. And then you also have the data section. So let's say your application is collecting data, correct? And that would be basically you know stored in this particular space. And also you will be having your app data similar to an Excel sheet here. Like you can transport into an CSV file later. Like let's say you collect all these data and you want to send it to someone who of the who requires this particular data. You can always export it into an CSV file and then share it to them. So that is something. And also if you are building it with a conservative approach, then you tend to code it out, and in backend you do all those things. But here though it is an inbuilt thing, so you don't have to worry much about the data. And also this is something where you can style things, like for example, like if you take a button, or if you take a image, and what font it has to follow, and what size it has to go forward and stuff. So that is with respect to the styles. And then you have plugins. Why plugins? Because sometimes you might be requiring things from third-party APIs. So let's say you are building some application like Swiggy or Zomato. You will be, of course, needing your users, geographical data or the location where they are situated, right? So instead of like you sitting and coding those functionalities, if you can already export some functionalities from an existing API, it makes your job easier. For that particular purposes, you can always install the plugins which are already available, and then you can integrate with your particular platform. So that is with respect to the plugins. And again, you would be having your settings like what plan you are in, and what other things, the general things like what domain you have been using, and your things with respect to your API and stuff. So this is a general layout of bubble, guys. So any queries, or shall we move to a any queries, guys? Hello. Okay, all clear. Okay, not yet. Cool. So now I think it's I mean I'm not getting the the vibe of the meeting because I tend to have it very interactive. So now let's do an interesting activity. Let's not you know bore each other with just a very random lecture. So probably let's take a problem statement or a case study sort of thing, and then can we build something out in this particular meeting? Can we do it? But it's going to cost us like 20-30 minutes. But I feel if we are going to be interactive, I think that is something we can do, right? Cool. Okay. Thank you, Aditya. Thank you, Kunal. So yeah, guys, and for this particular thing, I want you guys to be interactive because what we are going to build is we'll take a problem statement and we can build an application right away in this call. So we can try it. I'm not telling we will be building it, but at least we can build the skeleton of it, if not the fully fledged UIs and stuff. But at least let's build something, correct? So I'll share my Google Doc. Yep. Hope my screen is visible. Yeah. Hello.
It
So
is
yeah.
visible. It is
So
visible.
yeah, cool. Thank you. So I have taken a statement which a problem statement which I had basically encountered. Um, so this would be I'll explain you guys the context of the problem statement or the case. So let's say there is an FMCG company, a fast-moving consumer goods. I'm aware that many might be aware of it. And so this company has a factory, and then they need some efficient system to collect and monitor the throughput. So throughput is basically the output which the factory gives or the workstation gives. Correct. And also currently there is no centralized or automated solution. So basically people are collecting through notebooks and manual ways of going through it. So the main challenge what people are facing is it is manual data collection and stakeholders and then the production managers, decision makers aren't getting the data in time, and also it's very hard to find the bottlenecks, and there is no notifications how much is happening because let's say assume a chocolate factory, so you can say like 2 tons of uh, chocolates have to be produced every day, but the respective people aren't aware that whether the number of chocolates has been made or not. So those are some challenges what this company has been facing. So I mean, let's open up to discussion. So how we can tackle this, guys? So I'll repeat it. Basically, there is a company and there is a factory for this particular company where some goods have been manufactured. But then there is no proper collection system for noting down how much is being produced and stuff. People are having pen and paper, the conventional way of collecting the data, and then one another problem is people aren't notified how much is happening, how much data has been. I mean how much goods have been produced and stuff. And also you can say that they aren't sure of who is basically taking care of the production and everything. So these are some problems which the company has been facing. So come on, guys, you throw your points on what can be an ideal solution for this, or near to an ideal solution.
You have a worker going around and maybe entering readings into a database at some time interval, and then that gets logged and seen by the stakeholders when they want to see it.
So you are telling that can you re-summarize again? Sorry, I missed a bit.
Yeah, so it's basically the problem is that there are changes in the production process that may reach the that do not reach the stakeholders and
Hmm.
they can't review it, right?
Okay.
So maybe there's some sort of application on a person's phone, as in the workers that will be on the factory floor,
Okay.
onto which they can log these changes that happen onto it, and then that is seen by the stakeholders as and when is necessary. I hope that makes sense.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So that is one way of doing it. And Prajwal has told that using barcodes to track it all. Barcodes as in like, but let's say like the product or the commodity we are dealing with, it's like not able to barcode as such. And also, if we are going to use this particular system into the practices, then we have to also think about the cost implications. So, but that's one we have. See, guys, like there can be like multiple solutions for the problem, but then we have to go with respect to that. What can be done in an optimal way? We can create analytics dashboard to get the exact info. Okay, nice. Dashboard. Okay. Yeah, Akash.
So I think we can work on first of all we can see what criterias are very critical or criteria
Okay.
that we have to monitor in the production line, and
Okay.
then we can build an interface where the workers are able to input that data
Okay.
in regular time intervals,
Okay.
and then processing and using the analytics tools to see where are the bottlenecks generated and where the work needs to be done.
Okay. Okay. I think that is a very detailed approach you have given, summarizing the above listed points. So find bottlenecks, and also another thing is you can have a feature where it's communicated. Yeah. So any software folks here, any coders, any coders in the call? Oh, Prajwal. So Prajwal, how long it would take us to build something with the code for this particular platform?
I would say that okay, so you'll need a like a backend to manage the database and all, and a front
Yes.
end. So yeah, it will be a full stack application,
Okay.
and um, so there will be a dashboard for the stakeholders. There will be a separate dashboard, and
Ah,
for the production guy, the workers, there will be a separate page. There will be input data. So I guess it would take a lot of work if we do it in code. I
okay.
don't know the exact times, but maybe
Right.
it will take, if a single person is doing it, then maybe around 1 month or 1.5 month to code it all.
1 to 1.5 months. Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Got it. So, but let's say, this is where the beauty of no code comes in. And guys, again, I'm not a person who hates coding. So, so even I tried coding, but I wasn't, not very sharp at coding. So, but then one thing we have to appreciate is with the ease that no code does is it reduces the time for building the applications. Correct. So when Prajwal told like for if you are going to code it, so it's going to take a lot of time. But in no code, I can assure you guys that you will be able to build this particular platform within a week's time. And also within a week's time is also an overestimation, because if you want nice UIs, and if you want, let's say, you want to make it a very design friendly website, then you would require a week's time. But if you have the particular dashboard, and if you have the mailing systems and stuff, you can build it in a very less time. So that is something which no code does. And now what we'll do is, okay, oh, okay. Month is an underestimation. Okay, But anyways, coding also has its own perks. Like for example, like the scalability factor, everything becomes much easier in coding, which is not in the case of no code. No code, matlab, if you're doing an industry application, which let's say only 3 to 4 guys would be using it, then no code is a good thing. But let's say we are building something which should anticipate network traffic more than let's say 1.5 lakhs DAU, then you would be needing a lot of bandwidth to support it. So in that case, coding is the best thing people can think of. But no code is also trying to develop certain ways to encounter these things because uh, like now it's been a trend. If you follow all these product hunt and stuff, there has been a constant debate which goes into whether to code it or whether to no code it. But again, like the answer is it's our convenience. Like let's say for a person like Prajwal who's been knowing how to code, he might be like very comfortable with coding. So in that case, coding works. But so for a person like me, I'm not who is very comfortable with coding. I prefer something to be done easily in faster way. I would prefer no code. And again, there is no hard and fast rule that you should always use no code. So I'll try to be politically correct here. So yeah, cool. So just give me a minute, guys. I'll just be back once again. Sorry for making you guys wait. Yeah. So shall we start? Any queries, or are we good to see to build something basically? And again, I'll make the scope of what we are building clear. So like Akash said, we'll be first seeing what are the criteria, and we'll just build a simple thing where it takes the you know uh, to interface to store the data, and also you find where the bottlenecks are, and it's communicated to the necessary stakeholders. So we will kind of build something like this, a very simple a technical application. So that is what is going to be the focus of what we are going to build. So can we move ahead, guys? I'll take it as a yes. Thank you, Prajwal. So yeah, so like Akash said, what would be a criteria which we'd be focusing on? Let's take a chocolate factory itself. No, let's take a chocolate factory, and what would be the determining thing for a chocolate factory? What would you have it in your application where the worker is going to fill the data? Worker, matlab like there will be some sort of a supervisor, correct? And that supervisor, there will be, let's say, in a factory, operates 24/7. So there will be 3 shifts, correct? So let's say A shift, B shift, C shift, and there will be we'll take some names of supervisors. So for let's say I'm a vice president of a so, so I'm getting a back-to-back calls. So sorry, excuse me for it. So so considering the chocolate fact, let's say I'm a person who is in charge of the operations of this particular chocolate company. So what could be the things I would be wanting to know is something like, okay, I should know the name of the supervisors who took the thing, and that would be something I would want to know. And second thing would be like what shift this production has been done, and what is the date this production has been done, correct? So these would be the things which I would want to see in the report which I am getting, right? So let's just get started with it. So first should be, let's take a text box, and again excuse us for the kind of like a clumsier user interface because aligning it, designing it would take some time. So we'll just focus on the important part, and let's say what is an important thing? Okay, let's say shift name, shift, okay, and you kind of have it here. You can drag and drop it. So this is the another interesting aspect of no code. So, and you can obviously put some you know, text sort of thing. So you can again put it, and then you can leave it to that particular person's entry data. So for example, like here one disadvantage with no code is that disadvantage with bubble is that sometimes you should be very careful when it comes to seeing this particular text section, like appearance, layout, conditional. So if you are giving a conditional thing, so you should define a condition. So when, for example, like these things would be kind of confusing. So I would suggest you guys, if you go through enough materials or enough resources on online, you would get to know more about it. Correct. So this is something, and so shift is one thing I would be focusing on. Then after shift, what I would want is the supervisor name. So I'd be having another section where I'd be giving name of the supervisor. Correct. And let's say you want to have some design on it. So let's say you want to have a shape sort of thing, and for any aesthetic purposes, you can always define something. Or if you want tables, you can put tables, but the problem with tables is it only comes in the paid version of it. You can't have it in a free version. And if you want to code something out, you have this section where you can code that particular functionality. And also, let's say if you have something which is like Swiggy or Zomato, so in that case, you will require your map location and stuff. You can obviously use this. And also, you might be seeing websites where the video would be going on and on, and something like that you want to build. You have an option at Bubble where you can take this, and then you can give the video ID. You can get it from an external API as well. Like let's say I want to make a YouTube video to go on. So probably what I would do is I'll just go to this particular section. I, yeah, page URL, and I'd be giving YouTube's URL. So let's say I take a music video. I just put the link, and I think that should get this video running in this particular place. And moving on, like icons again, you can have your icon. Let's say you want to have a very fancy thing, you can have it here. So you get to experience all these nice design things in this particular, you can give it. So again, okay, enough exploring the platform. I think we are shifting from the main scope of what we are building. So what shift you are going to give, and then what supervisor, etc., those things would be here. And shape is for if you want to have something like, let's say you want some fillers for the page, so that it is, you find it not aesthetically good, you want some shape to fit in something, you can do it. And also you can do this video part as well if it is needed. Like if you produce a big bars of chocolate, like how the mondelez does. So those are something which you can do it using physical verification, correct? can be like, okay, this much thing. So you can do such things as well. So it depends on the what the company wants, correct? And one second, yeah. Moving on, just have it here. Yeah. So this would be our let's say first page, and what to do next if you ask, like let's say the you want to add some more details. For example, or for the better is what we will do is we'll have this particular how many chocolates. So there can be different SKUs, right? So for example, like you can have one line where it produces the 1 rupee chocolates, and one line where the 5 rupee chocolates has been produced, and one line that would be produced, it would be having 10 rupees chocolates. So there can be different sort of SKUs, and in order to get a track of the SKUs, you might require another page. So in that page, how to go for a next page? So you can give a button, just have a button, and then you probably give something like next. So this is one page we have did, and what to you would be understanding about workflow very shortly. So why workflow is important, everything, because you have to go to another page. So for example, if I just click the next button, I should go to the next page. So how should you do it is just by simply right clicking on it, and then you can add a workflow. You would be able to see it, add workflow. So when the button is clicked, what action? So there are some inbuilt actions where you can sign the user up, log in the user. So all these things, if you code it, it becomes hard. So you can all give an existing thing, and then you can make a button in a email, and also you can give him a password reset thing. So all these things you would be able to do. So now my focus is that I want to take it to a next page. So that is a navigation, right? So what things you would be having is go to a page and refresh the page, go to a previous page. So I want to go to a page. But then now we just made a single page. We haven't made another page, correct? So even if you are giving next, there won't be the page won't be going anywhere. So what we will be doing is you can find this particular thing, right? Like page index. This is the index page what we are working on. So go here. You have you know second. Yeah. So you'd be like having this option of add a new page. So give it, and you know give the page name as SKU data, SKU data, and you create it. So a new page would be created. So now you have this particular page of SKU data, and you again give stuff like you know number of, let's say, 1 rupee chocolate produced. So that would be one thing, and so something like number of 5 rupee. Not sure whether the spelling of rupee is correct, but okay, for a while let's not focus on the grammatical things. Let's get a simple function, and then we can focus on the UI part and other stuff, right? So this would be the things I want to basically get, and then after this, if I want to click this save button, I want to get an email. So this is what a simple thing. So I made two pages. So this application's purpose is you make a interface. The user just opens it. He finds little stuff he wants to tell about him. He just give it, and then he'll give the next button. So it has to go to the other page where the you would be giving stuff like how much has been given in terms of how much number of 1 rupee chocolate has been produced, what is the number of 5 rupee chocolate has been produced, and how much 10 rupee chocolate has been produced. So this is what I need. And once I click the save button, so let's say I'm a person who is holding a big position in this particular chocolate factory. I need to get a mail. So this is what we will be doing. Correct. So one second. So let's see the previous page. One second. Index shift. I'll give the input. You find the input section, and you give, let's say, A shift and B shift, C shift. One second, let us just preview it. This is a section of preview where you can see your interface basically. One second. Ah, here you might see the thing. One second, guys. My network is kind of slow. I'm not able to see the screen. So, are you guys able to see the screen? Hello. Okay, one second. One second, guys. Yeah, basically you give the input forms here. Hope my screen is visible, guys.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, cool, thank you. So yeah, here though you would give the input. You can either give it as a drop down sort of thing. You have options here, so you can just pull it and then can be like give the let's say shift A, shift B, shift C, and the supervisor name again drop down, and we'll give some names like Akash, Prajwal, Shift or something. Yeah. Also, you once you have given it, and now you have to give workflow for this next thing. Now, if the person can give the drop down, and what should we do once we get the next to edit the workflow navigation, go to a page. So here you can use a destination page, SKU data. Done. So if you see, we'll just also edit this. If you see now, I'll just preview it. I'm not sure whether it is visible. Once again, yeah. Shift. Let's say I'm giving a shift, and Akash is using it. I'll go next. If you see the next page, it will go to the SKU data page. So number of 1 rupee chocolate produced, number of 5 rupee chocolate produced, number of 10 rupee chocolate produced. But now let's if I give save, nothing would happen because we haven't given functionalities. So let's try to give some functionalities. So moving on, we'll go to the SKU page. We'll edit that, and we'll give we'll give the input data. And again, like I want an input here as well. And also you can define the parameter, what sort of input you want also. So that is something Bubble offers. And also here you have the save button where you can give the workflow. You can edit it, add a workflow. When that button save is clicked, what you want to, like I want to get an email, send email. So to whom? So let me just give my own email. No? So sender name might be like TPF, and what should be the body? You can give the dynamic data. For example, what was input A? If you see the input A is the supervisor's name, correct? So all the data you can see something like this, where you can create a custom state for it. So body, I just keep like the you know body. I want the let's say number of and you can insert your dynamic data. You can give it from the this says the shift of that person, right? And probably we can keep like this input case value. Okay, okay, one second, guys. Sorry. Is it visible now? Guys? Cool, thank you. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is, you might have seen we were doing the save button, right? So if I'm giving a workflow, when the save button is clicked, it should send an email, and we are giving some details of what emails it should give, what should be the sender name, and what should be the body of it. So that is what we are trying to do, and let's just try it out. No, we'll just see whether we are getting mail, and wait a minute. Yep. So let's now try it out. We have given some actions like, let's say, shift days value. So we'll see the preview. Now let's preview. Just go to the index page. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible. I'm sharing another screen. Yeah. So here you can give the shift. Let me give it, and I'm telling, okay, Prajual next. Okay, so if you see number of 1 rupee chocolate produced, it'll be like 5,000, and I'm just going to save it. Easy. Okay. 1 second. Okay, so I think what mistake we have did is, now in case of something like this happens where we are not able to use the functionality, you should go to the page what we have been working. So go to the SKU data and now see the workflow of the particular button. Like, go to edit, you edit the workflow. You see here first what it does is it sends the email. After which we didn't give it any instruction to do. So here what we have to do now is like, we should navigate it, go to a previous page, or like refresh the page or open an external. So I'll now give it a go to a previous page, and I will also give it to refresh it basically. So now let's try it. Second. Yeah, we'll give A. I'll try doing it. We'll just give some number. Give us some gibberish numbers. We'll try saving it. Again, subject line somewhere. Okay. 1 second, guys. Please. So yeah, I think so. There is some technical error. Basically, subject line error is coming. But then uh, let's we just saw how the workflow happens, right? You guys were able to see how the pages goes to next page, and you can be giving the functionality of getting your email. I think there has been some technical issue. I think we have to update some feature or something. Because of it, I think subject for mail. Okay. Yeah. So you go to the workflow button, save. I mean, for subject, let's give some. Okay, give a very random thing. maybe try now. So
हाँ मैं बता दूँ देख कैसे करते हैं एक करते हैं सपोज बंदा चाहता है कि देखो जो अपना कोर्स करना चाहता है
you shift a
हाँ तो तू मान ले जो तेरा तू अगर शुरू में करेगा तो तू
something
ऐसे
like
ऐसे करता है हाँ वैसे वैसे हो जा मैंने
oh yeah.
मैंने किया है ऐसे सच में
Yeah, guys, you can see the screen has been refreshed. I think that particular subject thing was the problem, I guess. And now, if you see my email,
हाँ
I have gotten an email from our application. So you can see that TPF,
क्यों अच्छा टाइप
our subject line. And of course, the problem was I never gave the subject. Thanks, Pejwal, for helping me out here. So yeah, so you can see here you got the whatever data you entered. But let's say I want the 5 rupees chocolates, how much it was. That also, if I need, I can always go to my button and then I can always manipulate the data whatever I need to get it my
फाइव में किसी
you
को
know thing. So that is it, guys.
बोल ना
So any queries or you want to play with bubble some more or anything?
तू बोल ना क्यों कॉलेज के बाद क्यों नहीं कर सकते तू अपना बता ना तू कुछ छुपा रहा है ना
Hello,
काय का मेरे को
guys.
एक मिनट रुक
What was the question?
So yeah, I was just showcasing how it mails and stuff. So any questions you guys have, or are we good to end the meet? All clear? Okay, Andrew, is Arindam here? So, so
Yeah, yeah,
Arindam
sure.
works with yeah. So yeah, dude, Arindam would be taking a next session about Figma. So Arindam, would you like to take this, dude?
Okay, so the thing about Bubble, by the way, nice question. So the thing about Bubble is, since it is a no-code platform, it also works on the development part. Like, if you, let's say, define a button, it would actually perform the functionality of a button. But in the case of Figma, it would just display that it is performing the functionality, but then you would have to work with a developer to, make things actually happen. So that is the difference between both of them. I hope I made it clear.
Arindam, you're telling anything?
Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
the thing about dev mode is it is not basically a plugin, but uh, it is just to tell that your uh, interface design is finalized and finished from the designer side, and it is ready to be developed. So it is not essentially a plugin, but yeah, it is just to inform that it is ready for development.
So difference between WordPress and Bubble. I mean, one thing with Bubble is Bubble has some more advanced functionalities which you can use. But WordPress. One interesting thing is, have you guys heard about this edtech startup called Growth School? You might seen this YouTube ads.
yeah we have a
Yeah. So Growth School's entire website, they have raised, good amount from their VCs and stuff. But then if you see where they have hosted it, everything is WordPress. So that is the beauty of WordPress. It is one of the very early players of no code. I mean, Bubble also like it's very early. But then if you talk about no code, the early players were WordPress. and then the Shopify, Wix, all these guys came for e-commerce. Then there was this particular e-com bubble where people used to build their e-com websites using these platforms. Then people were like, okay, let's build something for application wise. Then became bubble and stuff.
Ashit, just correct me if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But whatever my understanding till now and listening to this session, uh, can we say that Bubble is more sort of prototyping and uh, you know, playing around with features and trying and testing with UI UX, whereas Wix and WordPress are full fledged. You can put down like go full fledged deployment and make business.
Correct, correct. So because uh, the ease of your usage would be better when it comes to Wix and stuff, right? Because they already have this nice templates and stuff. Let's say you want to build an blog site, they already have the things done and easily you can access them. So, but then when it comes to Bubble, if you want to build something like an end-to-end B2B thing, or which you want to build it among your organization, then Bubble is best more than Wix. Yeah. Hope that answered your query. Or
Yeah, one more small doubt is like if I were to like make a consumer facing startup, then
okay.
according to Akash, like would WordPress be better than Bubble then? Because like you said that Bubble
Hmm.
is efficient in intra enterprise, like
Hmm, hmm.
within an enterprise,
But
and
then,
so if
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
consumer facing, so I guess according to Akash, it's WordPress then,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, you can use
Wanted to clarify on
WordPress.
this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But then again, like choosing your software of convenience depends on
Yeah,
various
depends on a
factors.
lot of factors
Correct.
actually.
So
Yeah.
if you want space, then you compare the how much this particular platform is giving, how much this particular platform is giving.
Got it.
If
Got
it's
it.
going to be cost, then you would be having different buckets of comparison for it. So it really
Yeah.
depends on your personal goal.
Yeah.
Maybe
Actually.
that you can do. But then once you sort of get your hands around Bubble, then you can do a lot in it. How good is the industry if I'm full-fledged into UA UX no code development? I think these design related questions, UA UX, that is our focus for the session on 11th. If I'm not wrong, Arindam would be taking care of the Figma session. So I would suggest you to attend that as well. And
That is
when it
on
comes to
12th, by the way.
UE, what do?
Yeah, yeah, that is on 12th. Yeah, the
12th,
session is.
sorry, my bad. I'm really sorry. Yeah, on 12th of January, tune in for the session on Figma. And when talking about the industry for UI UX no code development, I think go through Webflow, and also no, I don't have much to say on the design things. So
I think
cool then.
if there are no questions, we can close the
That's it.
session.
We can wind up. Yeah.
Okay, so before we wind up the session, guys, an important announcement for all of you. First of all, like thanks, Harshit, for like taking up this entire session on no code development. And we'll be having a guest lecture tomorrow by Mr. Ranjan Chaudhary, who is an IIM Bangalore alumnus, and he has a vast experience in product management, working with companies like Gartner. He has worked in BHEL and then Infosys, and currently he's a group product manager at Evalueserve. So it will be another very good session. Our first guest lecture of the series, Speak the Product. So do attend that, guys, and hope to see you all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Yeah.